Hi, this is Nicole, and I am going to share with you today a relaxation or a practice you can do before you go to bed at night or take a nap. I think we might have a lot of time for naps in the next few weeks, hopefully. And so this is really meant to just take a time to just slow your heart rate down, slow your breath down, slow your mind down, and really just center and get ready to rest and relax. And these poses, a few of them, actually most of them, are going to be good at just sort of loosening up the hips and the shoulders and the upper back. And we're just really going to focus on taking it easy. Not really, this is not a practice to push yourself to the most flexible, that you can be. This is really just to take it easy, feel a nice release, a nice stretch. And we're going to start in a comfortable seat. You can do some of these in a chair. It's going to be a little bit hard. We are going to kneel. So if you have like a blanket or a towel that you can use, I use a blanket like this. And I have a little cushion, a little meditation cushion that I sit on when I sit. But you can just sit on a bed pillow, a couch cushion, a towel, rolled up towel works great too. So just to give yourself a little, get your hips a little bit above your knees just to give it a relax. And if you need rolled up blanket or towel under your knees, if you sit in this cross-legged position, you can also sit in whatever way feels good to you. If that's like this, or kneeling, if you can take that on your knees. But just find a comfortable chair. Just make sure that your bottom is nice and even on whatever you're sitting on, and you can really feel your hip bones, just like your sit bones really sitting. And just take a minute and just sit still. We're not going to do anything for the first few breaths of our practice. And just notice your breath. And however it is, you don't need to change it at all. But see where you notice it. Is it in your belly? In your chest? In your nose? Your nostrils? Or somewhere else back of your throat? And see what sounds you can hear around you. And you don't need to worry about them or think about them. Just note them. I can hear someone downstairs rustling around in something in the kitchen. I can hear some birds, but what can you hear? And our first movement is going to be really easy. You can take your hands down to your side, and we're just going to inhale them up. And you go as high as they go, and then exhale them slowly down. And again on inhale up. Exhale. You can sigh it out to really relax. One more time. And down. All right, from here we're going to inhale up our arms, and we're just going to take a very easy twist to the right. Just twist from your belly, from your hips, and just go over, and then just let your arms rest wherever they rest. And your head should just be neutral and straight. You don't need to turn it to look over your shoulder. We're just taking it easy. And again, remember to twist from your midsection. And then inhale your arms up and untwist. And on the exhale, come down to the left side. And again, watch the posture. Sit up, stack your shoulders above your hips. Your neck nice and tall and neutral. And inhale your arms back up and untwist and back down. Again, we're going to inhale up and fold over to the right. Just let your arm rest on the ground and just lean to the right. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing is actually the most important part of yoga. So to be doing that, you're doing it right. And then up and then over to the left on the exhale. And again, you're going to feel the stretch on the side body, really lifting up towards the sky, like you're making a straight line from your right hip all the way to your fingers. And then back up and down. All right, now we are going to move our body a little bit. I'm going to turn to the side. Again, I have a nice blanket, I'll show you, on my mat. So you do what you need to do to be comfortable. So we're going to start with a nice pose. That's one of my favorites. We call it child's pose. Where you want to get on your knees, make sure your feet are touching in the back, your big toes should touch. You can make your legs as wide as the mat if that feels good, or more narrow. It really depends on how your hips and belly feel. And then just come down forward, and you can stop on your forearms if that's good for you. If you can go all the way to the floor, then that's awesome. But you just want to really surrender to the ground. And if your head doesn't quite reach the floor, you could get a block or a towel or pillow to rest your head on. Take a few breaths here, and I'll keep talking a little bit. So you really want to try to get your tush as close to your heels as you can. That downward, backward motion is really the goal, because you're really trying to stretch out this whole back body. And you can keep your arms and shoulders wide. You don't want to scrunch your neck up. And that actually doesn't feel good for me to have that on my head, so I'm going to hold it down. And bend your breath. Take it nice and easy breath. And then when you're ready to come up slowly. Walk your hands back. And we're going to find ourselves into a tabletop position, hands and knees. And so you want to make sure that your shoulders, elbows, and wrists are in line. And they can be as wide, you want them as wide as your shoulders. You don't want them to narrow, and they can be a little further if that feels good for you, but really try to keep it in line with your shoulder. And again, with your legs, you want your hip and your knee to be a straight line as you can. Your feet behind you, and you want to put a little, you might, if you have some tender feet, you might also want to put a towel or the blanket under your feet. My feet feel good because I have a rug and the mat under me, but you want to put a little pressure down those feet, just a little bit, to engage the legs. And when you do that, you're also going to engage your core a little bit, and your tummy goes towards your spine. And so you really want to have like a neutral of a spine. You're not really trying to stick your butt up in the air or curve it. We're going to. But for right now, we want to keep it straight as you can with your neck long, and you can face the mat or the floor. And then from here, we're just going to do some simple movements that's going to like loosen up our back and shoulders a little bit. It's called cat and cow, and we're going to make shapes that look like cats and cows. So first things first, we want to make sure that our hands are firm on the ground, like all your fingers and your thumb are flat. Your palm is flat. You really want to distribute the weight as much as you can into the whole hand, and that will help protect your wrists and your shoulders. And then we're going to inhale and drop the belly and look up a little bit. You don't have to drop your head all the way back. Inhale, and then exhale. You're going to curl in, chin towards your chest, your belly coming towards the spine. Really hollow it out as much as you can around the back. And that's your exhale. Get it all out. And on your inhale, unfurl, tailbone to the sky. Your chest area is going to open. Put your chest forward. Watch your neck. You can keep it neutral. And then exhale. Curl under. Inhale. Back up. And do this at your own pace 3 more times. Exhale. Rounding. Inhale. And we'll meet together back in that neutral tabletop position. And we're going to stay here for another couple minutes. So we're going to stretch our legs out. So take your right leg and just push it straight out behind you. Flex your foot like mine is, but make your leg straight. And so you're just going to hold there for just a couple breaths and really engage that left foot that's still on the ground. Just like push that leg, and that will help keep everything feeling sturdy. And again, your arms, even weight as much as you can on both sides. And then we're going to put the foot down to the floor, so your ball of your foot's on the floor. And you're just going to like stretch, push your weight a little bit behind you. So just stretch the bottom of your foot and the back of your calf a little bit, just a little, not too much. And then roll forward a little bit, ease off, and then back. And then roll forward, and then push back, stretch out that foot. And then you can put it back down on the side. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So ground that right foot down, and you're going to put the left leg out, flex the left foot behind you. As soon as you can, you don't really need to worry about how far off the ground your leg is. It's not really that important. And then we're going to plant it down after a breath to the ground. And again, the ball of your foot, your toes are on the mat, your heels up towards the air. And just push a little bit back to stretch out that calf and foot. And then ease off. And again, stretch out the foot. Inhale. One more time. And again, bring your leg back to the tabletop. And if it feels good, you might want to do a couple more cat-cows. So inhale, up. Exhale, round it. Inhale, up. Exhale, round. All right, from here, we're going to we're going to go on our bellies. So you just go all the way down to the floor. If that's comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable for you to do this, then I suggest you just go back to that child's pose, because that's where we're about to go in a second. So this is called Sphinx pose. You want your elbows and your shoulders to make a line. Your forearms are going to be flat on the ground. Palms flat on the ground. Your head is neutral. Your rest of your body is resting on the ground. You can engage your feet a little bit. Push against the floor. Don't forget to breathe. Keep your neck nice and neutral. This is really just a nice little easy back bend. And then from here, bend, get back on your hands and knees, however that works for you. And then we're going to sit back into that child's pose again. Just, you're going to touch your back, your big toes behind you. Knees can be as wide as feels good for you. Get your belly in there. And then as far as you can, either forearms. And just relax the head, or all the way to the floor. Or again, like I said, you can rest on a block or a pillow on your head. Don't forget to breathe. It's the most important part. All right, from here, we are going to go back on hands and knees. And again, we're going to get to that neutral spine. So you can just tuck. So if I do this, my tailbone's up in the air, and I can just tuck it down a little bit. And that takes that curve out of the bottom of my back as much as you can. You don't want to really do it like that, because that's not what we're going for. We're just trying to neutralize it a little bit. And from here, we're going to do something called thread the needle, which is a nice shoulder stretch. So I want you to probably watch me before you try it to see if it's something you can do. So you're going to inhale your right arm up in the air above you. And on the exhale, you're going to take it and bring it down through. And then you're going to rest on your shoulder, and your head can come to the ground. You can also rest your head on a block if that doesn't feel good, or a pillow. So if I'm up here, I can come down and rest here. You just want to be gentle on your neck. You can put your hand like it was. You can rest it forward, which feels good to me because I have neck and shoulder issues on this side of on my left side. But however your hand feels good is fine, just as long as you feel supported. And again, your hips are going to be over your knees, so your butt's up in the air. And you can stay in this pose for a while if you really feel like you need this twist. We're not going to stay that long right now. So we're going to slowly put weight into our left arm and unwind back up the way we started and rest on the floor. Again. Start from neutral again. Inhale the left arm up, and then we're going to slowly exhale all the way through. And then slowly unwind. And if that pose doesn't work for you, the child's pose, this one is always available for you. It is really great to help relax and regulate a little bit if you're feeling overheated or out of breath. It's a great way to relax. And so from here, we're going to try a different pose. We're going to come up on your knees if you can, and then use your blanket if you have one, or a towel to give you extra cushion. So from here, if we're up again, hips over knees, try to keep everything stacked. And we're just going to take the right leg and put it out to the side. I'm going to move over a little bit so you can see my foot. So it's flat on the floor, pointing towards you, pointing towards the longer side of the mat if you're using a mat like I am. And then again, hip over knee. And arms, inhale your arms up on inhale. And then we're going to go over that right leg very gently. Another side bend stretch. And you don't really want to scrunch that back up. It doesn't really matter how far you go, just as far as you feel that stretch on the left side. Keep it nice, your breath nice and easy. Breathe into that side body. And then inhale up. And let's take it over to the left side just a little bit. So we're really trying to make a straight line from our foot, which we're going to really engage on the ground as much as you can. And then like a straight line, as if you're pointing up to the stars. You can just let this left arm kind of relax or on your hips. And then back up. And then help yourself get situated on your knees again. And then we're going to do on the left side. So put your left foot out. Again, try to get the whole foot on the floor. If that really doesn't work for you, you can just do your side bends from a kneeling position like this. It just depends. And again, you don't want to lock this knee out. You just want to keep it just a little bit of a bend in it, just to keep it protected. And that's why you also want to make sure this foot down here is engaged, your left foot. So let's inhale up and over to the left. And then back up. Exhale over to the right. And again, we're just really trying to make a line from our fingers and our left hand all the way to the left foot. Engage that foot. Back up, and then help yourself get down to your kneeling position. And now we're going to sit in our tushes, and we're going to do some forward folds. Now, if you have a towel or blanket, I recommend that you just roll it up a little bit to give yourself a little bit of an edge to sit on, because it's going to help keep, if you really scoot to the end of it, so just your sit bones are like right on the edge, it's going to help you do this forward movement. Because if you're all the way sitting back, then you're like gonna do this. And so so if you just sit a little bit, it'll give you a little bit of a help with that pelvic tilt. And if you don't have one, it's fine. Just, do the best that you can. A pillow will work too. Some people will sit on a block, but it doesn't really feel good on my bottom, so I don't do that. So, and your feet can be hip width apart. They don't have to be touching. It's just whatever feels comfortable for you. And from here, we're going to do a forward fold, something I'm sure most of you are familiar with. So we're just going to inhale up, and then from the belly, we're going to drape the belly, and then the chest, and then the arms and the head forward. You want to keep your feet flexed, pointy toes pointing up. And it's really, you're not going to strain your neck. You're just going to let your neck be wherever it is. And remember, you're coming from your belly, your center forward, draping forward. It does not matter how far over your legs you go. You want to feel the stretch all along the back body. On every inhale, rise up, and exhale, you can see if you can just drape a little further. You can also, I forgot to say, you don't want to lock your knees out. You can keep them a little loose. And if you have back trouble, what you can do is you can use a little something under your knees, like this kind of little pillow guy or a towel or something. And that's really going to help, because it's kind of contradictory, I think, in a lot of people's minds. But if you bend the knees, you actually can fold over farther, because it's giving your hamstrings a little bit of a break, and it allows it to have a little bit more stretch. So slowly walk yourself back up to seated position. And now we're going to roll onto our backs. We only have a few more things to do before we get to a rest. So roll onto your back, and we're going to get sure your shoulders are on the ground, your hips, your whole back body. You can put your feet flat on the floor, about hip distance apart, and bring your knees to your chest or your belly, whatever feels good to you. You can hold your knees. You can hold behind your legs. You can also, if you have a yoga strap, you could also use that around your feet to help pull them down. I don't have mine here right this second. So this is a nice place to start. You can do just some really gentle rocking motions on the lower back. If that feels good to you. Do little circles. Do the other way. And one thing before we move on, we could just stretch a leg out. And I don't have enough room to actually stretch my legs, but hopefully you do. Stretch your one leg out, pull one in, like really bring it in, and then switch. And then from here, we got our legs in close, and we're going to put them up in the air. This is called a happy baby. You've probably seen a baby do this when they discover they have feet. And so you can hold your ankles. You can hold your feet. You can hold the back of your legs. Whatever feels good. You don't really want your shoulder blades to come off the floor. So if you can just grab your ankles or your calves, that's great. And you just want to give a little traction down. Ground back down to the ground. So and keep your legs as wide as feels good for you. Give your organs, internal organs, some room. And it's really open up your inner thigh area, and it's good for your back. And you can do little rolls. Feels good, like a baby. Don't forget to breathe. And then from here, we can do a little bellows, which would be putting your hands on your knees. And so I'm going to take a deep breath in and push our knees away from us. And then as we bring them in, we're going to exhale. And this pose is good for just giving a good massage to all those inside parts. It can help you with digestion. If you have gas, it's great for that. Just keep things moving along, and you can do that. And now we are going to put our feet down. And one more thing, we're going to do a reclining pigeon. So you're going to take your right foot and you're just going to put it onto your left knee and flex that foot, protect your knee. And if it feels good to you, you can raise this foot up and hold behind your leg like this. It doesn't feel good to me because my arms are too short to really reach. But if you can do that while keeping your shoulders on the ground, you can do that, great. But otherwise, just do like I'm doing, the foot like this, flexed, and you can just use your weight of your hand just to push that right leg a little bit away. And that can help stretch out the hip a little. It's a more relaxed pigeon if you're a pigeon pose person. Okay, and put your right foot down and bring your left foot on top of your right knee. Again, flex your left foot, and you can use your left hand to just put a little light pressure onto that left leg. So for your hips are away, kind of pushing your knee away from your body. All right, and then we're going to put our legs down. And our last pose, you're going to need a wall or a door, whatever you have handy. You're going to want to put something, probably if you don't have carpeted floors, you're going to want to put something probably on the floor. A blanket is great to also have to sit your tush on as well. We're going to put our legs up the wall. This is a really great position. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm actually going to read you a meditation, which will be hard to do upside down. But it's a really great position to do before bed. It helps you relax. It's known to help people with insomnia, and it's really just a nice way to end your day for a few minutes. And you can even do it laying in bed. If your bed is against the wall somehow, you could do it in bed. But one easy way to get your legs up is to sit next to the wall like this. And then, scoot yourself as close as you can. But you got to leave a little room for your booty. And then you're going to just kind of recline and put the legs up. And it's not very graceful pose. And you can push yourself towards the wall if you have that flexibility and mobility. But you also can just relax. We're not trying to be active. So I'm not going to try to smudge my dirty mirror up. But you can just relax your feet. They can be really wide if that feels good to you. They can be in goddess pose like this. You can just relax however they flop. Arms down wide to the side, not active. Head neutral. Look at the sky or your ceiling. If you need more support on your lower back, then by all means, really roll up a blanket or get a squishy pillow for it. And you can stay up there for a few minutes. Eventually, you'll probably want to come down because the blood will be leaving your feet, but it's good for us to turn upside down from time to time. And that's a nice, restful way to do it. So while you're up there, I will sit here. And if that didn't work for you, come and sit with me here on the floor. And just take a minute to just check in with that breath again. And you might want to put a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. Even if you're laying down, that will work. I'm going to scoot a little bit further away so you can see my face. Check in with your breath. What is it telling you? How are you feeling? As we sit here together, just take a few breaths and see as you can, very without much effort, just try to extend the exhale just a slightly longer than the inhale. See if you can get it. If we're inhaling for 3, see if you can exhale for 6. So let's try. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. While you're sitting here, relaxed and safe, I want you just to think, recall of a person who makes you feel safe and loved and known, whether that's a person in your life now or for when you were a child or someone you haven't seen in a long time. And just bring that person to your mind and hold them with some love and some thankfulness. And feel their love for you and share your love for them. And take that love and stick it in your heart, bury it away, put it in a special place. Put it here. You can use your hand. You can physically hold it. Picture it in your mind. Feel that energy, the love energy from that person. Feel their spirit, their light. And carefully put it in your heart. Carry it with you. And when things are hard, which things are hard now, you take that and you think about it and you remember them and you hold on to it. Let's all just say a little thank you to the people who help us feel loved and safe. And if your legs are up the wall, now is a great time to very slowly make your way back down. You should probably take a moment just to lie on the floor or the bed that you're on, nice and relaxed. Let's take a few more breaths together. We can take our hands off our hearts and put them in front of us again and offer our goodness and our love to the world, and to ourselves, and to those people who help us feel safe and loved. Let's ground that down to the ground. Do a little bow, either a nod of our head or actually fold forward. In gratitude. In gratitude for the practice of yoga and all of the wisdom that have been shared through the centuries and millennia that we are here sharing today. And for all the teachers and guides who are here today to help us. I want to thank you all for sharing some time with me, and I hope that this was enjoyable for you, and I will join you again another time. Thank you.